you love to play. Oh, you love to play. Don't your comments won't relay. Sign this on my page for you. Oh my God, he changed. Young life, I can't see back karma. I just need some brains so I could keep myself in order.
Yes. We are taking a break from the drinking series. We're just gonna do a regular story time. So, yes, you see the title. Yes. In love with the same man, and no, this is not a stranger. This will be one of my cousins. So, how can I start this off? I'm gonna set the scene. So, basically, like, my cousin is a couple of years older than me. Not a lot, but a couple. And of course, that means she graduated high school before me. So you went to a certain college. Well, lo and behold, my other cousin went to this college. And so they gave it very high remarks, high views, high, what we call it? Yeah, reviews. They gave it, they were giving it like 4 to 5 stars of their experience, the atmosphere, and it wasn't too far from home, but it was far enough to where you had to do what you need to do to depend on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Truth be told, my dream college was not this university. There's a difference. There's college and there's university, but we all call it college. That's what we're going to say. My dream college was not this college. I used to play basketball, as I stated before, and my dream before I stopped playing my senior year, or was it my junior, or was it my freshman year? One of those years I sat out because my mom was really trying to get her life back together, and it would be very hard for her to come pick me up from practice. So most of the time I would be the only child left there waiting for somebody to come pick me up, because 9 times out of 10 either my mom forgot about me or she was at work and couldn't get off, because at that time she was working when she was trying to rebuild her life after the nightmare of her ex-husband. I think at one point she was working up to 3 jobs. So it wasn't, I don't think she was forgetting me on purpose. I just think it was, I have to work and I have to provide and I have to get out of debt. And when it pops up or when I remember, I'll send somebody at her. Because as I stated in one of my stories, we lived in a town where everybody knew everybody. So all of us who was playing basketball, there was somewhere, somehow I would be able to get home. But it got to the point where it was bothering me because I was being left by myself a lot. So much till one of the parents would just sit there and wait until somebody would come pick me up, or then they'll be like, oh, I'll take you home. And it got to the point where she was forgetting more because of the conflicting schedule. Anyway, so I said all of that because I wanted to, my dream was to be playing basketball for a whole different university and a whole different state, because I was a huge fan of Don Staley. So I wanted to play for Virginia. All honesty, because Tennessee? Hold on. No. Tennessee. Not Virginia. I don't know why I was saying Virginia. Who was playing for Virginia at the time? Anyway, I was a baller during the era of Dawn Staley, Rebecca Lobo, Cheryl Swoops. Like, I knew the girls of the girls who could hoop. But I absolutely wanted to play. One of my dreams, was to play for Pat Summitt, and it's so crazy because she passed because she had Alzheimer's. Crazy. She died from Alzheimer's, but and that was why she retired. She was a dope, absolutely amazing basketball coach for women. So that was my dream. But once as me and my son had this conversation, we recently just had this conversation. I was like, making decisions out of emotions or anger, it only hurts you. And so I made a decision literally out of emotions and anger, and I stopped playing ball. And people, even when I stopped, because I was really good, there were people saying, I'll come get you, don't quit, I'll come get you from practice. And I just felt like that wasn't their responsibility. Like, it was my mother's responsibility, not understanding, like, this lady is in debt and she's trying to figure her way out. Because I'm pretty sure there was so much things that she did not tell me that was going on, and stuff that she had to handle after that whole situation. So the college that my cousins was going to was not my first choice, but I ended up going there because I got accepted. Because, of course, my dream college is like, first of all, it was out of state. My mom wasn't going to be able to afford it. I'm no longer playing ball, so there's no way of a scholarship athletic wise. So it's like, at this point, that's out of the question. But I did apply to different colleges. And yeah. So, but this was one of the colleges that I got into. And so it was like, okay, once I got an acceptance letter, my mom was real. She was like, I can't afford it. And it was like, huh? Because at this point, after the dreams of basketball and stuff didn't pan out, me and my best friend at the time, we were deciding, like, okay, well, we're going to go to this school together. Like, and it was a lot of us in my senior class that had decided, like, okay, we started focusing on this school, on this college, because as I stated, it had great reviews from the people who had already been there, but also it's not too far from home, but it's far enough to where you had to be an adult on your own. Like, you're not being micromanaged, so to speak. It's not right up the street. So we were deciding, it was like, okay, so this is the college we're going to go to. Well, lo and behold, my best friend at the time ended up getting pregnant. So it was like, her mom was like, you can still go to school and I'll just watch the baby. But she decided, this is my baby, this is my responsibility. So I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to go to school in our hometown, which we have a junior college. At the time, it was junior college. I think it's a regular college now. But I think at the time, it was a junior college. It was just 2 years. And she was like, and I'll transfer later, So pretty much I was by myself because of that plan. But then when my mom was like, she couldn't afford it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to school. So I was sitting on the stairs, and I had literally sitting on the front porch and had decided, like, oh, okay, I guess I need to figure something out as far as the work, how I'm going to go about is as far as being an adult. Because truth be told, I was ready to leave. I wanted to leave the house. Well, lo and behold, my mom, and this is another reason why I say credit is key, or basically knowing somebody. But anyway, she maneuvered. I don't know how she maneuvered, but she came in with the money to pay for my first quarter, my fall quarter. And it was literally at the last minute because the roommate that I had, because they send you your roommate assignments, I still didn't get that mail, in all honesty. I don't remember receiving that mail. But the roommate that I had, she was cool people. She reached out to me. We was talking, so that way you can get acquainted and you won't be in a room with a complete stranger. Even though it's a complete stranger, but you can get acquainted over the summer, right? So she had reached out to me and she was like, girl, are you still coming? And I promise you, it was literally last minute. Like, I showed up in my dorm to check in my dorm last minute. And I actually did it by myself. Well, lo and behold, so I went there the summer prior. As I stated, 2 cousins were already down there. And one's a female, one's a male. And they were already down there. One was already established. And I think the female, was she graduating or almost graduating? I think she had already graduated. And I think the male was still attending. I think he might have been in his junior. He had enough credits for junior, I think. Don't quote me. But anyway, I already had 2 cousins down there. So I went there the summer prior to get established, get comfortable, know my surroundings, get a lay of the campus. So I end up, So I end up moving in with the girl cousin. The girl cousin was like, you come, well, I think our moms had worked something out. I'm not even gonna front. She was like, yeah, you come stay with me, like, you can sleep on my couch, because she had a 1-bedroom. She was like, you can sleep on my couch, like, to get stuff going, get stuff started. So, because my mom was like, you definitely gonna need a job, because she was like, there's only so much I can afford. And so I was like, oh, okay. So once I got there, my boy cousin ended up, because he knew a lot of people too, so he ended up like hooking me up, introducing me to somebody else who could give me a job. So they gave me a job on campus. So, and then it was at nighttime. It was overnight. It was overnight. So literally, so I'm working, but I'm kind of depressed because I'm there by myself. Like, college is completely, totally different from high school. I know y'all think when y'all in high school, y'all got everything figured out and y'all know everything. And once you walk out the door, this is how it's going to go. And this is how it's going to be planned. And I have it written down, and life just does not work that way. I tried to tell my son this a long time ago. I tried to prepare him. I tried to get him like, this is what's going to happen after high school. And he didn't get it until after high school, and it hit him in the face. I tried to tell him all the people that you think, the people who are so extremely popular and they got on the expensive clothes and all this other BS in high school, once they walk out them high school doors and they graduate, the world doesn't give up about any of that. They don't even know who you are. It doesn't matter. I was watching a YouTuber who is extremely famous, as far as we know. She's extremely famous. She was on a plane, her and her daughter, and the person talking to her had no idea who she was. Even though she's famous, had no idea who she was. So just because you have a certain class doesn't necessarily mean everybody knows you. Just because you're Facebook famous or Instagram famous doesn't necessarily mean everybody knows you. Anyway, so I'm working, trying to still get accustomed, try to learn back roads. I do that anyway. Any area I move into, I start driving around trying to learn back roads, trying to figure out certain areas because I need to know my surroundings. And I like back roads too. So it's like, if I can cut this way and make a quick right to get to where I need to get instead of getting on the interstate, I'll do that. So I'm working and I'm depressed because, again, I'm by myself. My best friend at the time was supposed to be here. That didn't happen. Excuse me. I gotta work. This college experience, it hadn't even started yet, but I'm extremely tired because I'm working at night. I'm trying to get acquainted and get accustomed to like the rules and everything. Trying to figure out parking because each campus is different. So we had to pay for a parking pass to even park on campus, but then you had to find parking in the parking lot area and then catch the bus and time the bus just enough to get to the campus if you couldn't find parking on campus. And on campus parking, everybody know, is limited. So literally like riding around trying to get the rules, trying to get stuff together. And this is even before I even did orientation. It was a lot of information being thrown at me. I'm depressed. I'm by myself because there's nobody there with me, like in my age. Like none of the plans that I had going together that I had thinking I had everything mapped out, none of that worked. None of it. So I'm staying with my cousin, and at this time my cousin has a boyfriend. And of course, most of the time it's her apartment, so most of the time her boyfriend is there, and I feel like a third freaking wheel because it's you and your boyfriend, and I'm sitting here looking stupid and I'm uncomfortable because I feel like the third wheel, and then none of my friends are around. So lo and behold, one weekend, I think I had been there maybe a month or two, one of my other best friends came through. She came down. She was like, I'm gonna come visit you, girl. And she didn't stay at my female cousin's house. She stayed with my male cousin. He was cool with letting her crash on the couch. And so she came, and once she came, the female cousin's boyfriend was like, I guess I need to give them a name. So her boyfriend name is going to be Chris, and my female cousin name, her name is going to be Andrea. My male cousin name is going to be Gamer. We're gonna call him Gamer. Yeah. So Chris was like, yo, when my best friend came, this is a different best friend who was supposed to come to college with me. This best friend, she was going into one of the military branches. So she was coming, we were hanging out and spending time before she deployed, went to basic training and all that other stuff. So this was our last hangout. This best friend actually drew my first tattoo by hand. She could draw her ass off. She is extremely talented when it came down to drawing. She drew my first. Baby, I don't even think. Let me see. Hold on. Is that there? Yep. So it said when it's old as hell. Like I got this 1998. 1998. So it says Shorty. And I know y'all like, girl, why would you tattoo a nickname? Well, my nickname in high school was Shorty. My mom's nickname in high school was Shorty. Mine was T-Y, and hers was T-I-E. So instead of putting mom or her name, I got our nicknames. Shorty. Anyway. So yeah, she came down, and so Chris was like, dang, this is the first time I ever seen you light up, smile. Usually you're walking around here, you're depressed. Like I was worried, and I was like, well, I feel like a third wheel. And I was like, and my best friend is here, so I'm trying to get all the time we could get in. So we went, most of the time, if we wasn't at Andrea's apartment, we were, when we was at Andrea's apartment, when my best friend came, we were in the pool. And so after we got out of the pool, it's still like we still feel uncomfortable because it's like you with your man. You know what I'm saying? It's like you with your man. So let's move around. Like we don't need to be here. So Gamer was like, y'all come hang out with me. Bad. And at the time, Gamer was single. So and Gamer had like homeboys coming through playing video games all the time. So we was over there, and while we was over there, we was having a good time because literally he had an apartment on campus. So it was dudes coming in and out. It was females coming in and out too. But it was always a vibe because it was never a dull moment. They was playing video games, we was eating, we was having a good time, and we didn't feel uncomfortable because we not sitting in a couple's face. You know what I'm saying? So after she left, I was like, you know what? It's easier for me to move in with Gamer and stay at Gamer's all the time. I said, because Gamer's single, number one. Number two, Gamer is already on campus, so I can walk to work instead of driving to work. And I can go ahead and get my parking pass. So finally got my parking pass, even though I had a little note in there. And they still was trying to give me tickets, but they ended up removing them because they were supposed to honor the note. Parking department. They were supposed to honor the note. But I still end up getting my parking pass. Once I got my parking pass, they removed the tickets. I was parking. Very rare, I would move my car because I was already on campus, so I could walk to work. And was chilling, balancing life. And then Gamer was like, he was like, so how does it feel to be a working lady? How was the pay? And I was like, I never got a check. Well, lo and behold, I didn't know, they were, I was supposed to fill out a sheet and turn in a sheet at a certain time. I'm thinking, okay, some way, somehow, I don't know, they was clocking me in or something. I don't know what I thought. But I never got a check. He was like, you got to turn in your time sheet. So I had to backlog the time. So my first check was beautiful. Because they had to do back pay. So my first check was beautiful. So me and Game were like, when I say we balled out, we balled out. And I still had money left over. We ate, we had a good time. We went shopping, and then during this time, prices was low. So we had a good time. We had a good time with that shit. So anyway, after that, so I'm starting to feel accomplished, a little adult. Got my little jobby job. I'm happy, I'm content mentally because I'm chilling out with Gamer. We having a good time. And even later on, Gamer ended up getting a girlfriend, but she was kind of cool because she was kind of cool because she would be once she would come to visit, because she lived on campus too, she'll be you can go to my room, which I did it 1 or 2 times, and I was like, I ain't feeling it. So yeah, I don't know, I'll figure something out. When y'all need alone time, quality time, I'll figure something out. But yeah. But anyway, so things are going good. Things are going straight. So, like I said, Andrea, when I first got there, I moved down with Andrea. So, Andrea was really hyped about her church home. And so, she invited me. She was like, why don't you come, to my church and listen and see, if you like it. Because at the time, I wasn't really feeling church. I wasn't even doing church. Hence, all that other stuff that went down with Nightmare. That's going to be his name. With Nightmare. So, wasn't really feeling the church thing, because it's at this point, what's the point of going? Because nobody is getting it. So she was like, no, I promise, it's a different atmosphere. It's a different vibe. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good time. Now, mind you, my home church, the church that I grew up in, the choir was cool. My mama sung in the choir. They was cool. They did okay. But it wasn't all that to be you know what I mean? They was cool. It was cool for what it was, but it wasn't all that type situation. So she was like, no, the choir's good, the speaker's good. I'm telling you, the people's real cool. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, maybe I got a dress in here somewhere. So I found a little outfit, and it was a dress, it was cute, but it was, I guess, above the knee, too much above the knee. And so when we got to the church and we got to the door, the choir was singing. And so listening to the choir, and this is when Kurt Franklin had just came out, but he was really, really popular. And the choir was singing My Life Is in Your Hands, I think that's the name of the song. Oh no. More Than I Can Bear, I think. That I can bear. I think it was that. One of them slow songs, child. I think it was that. But my cousin she was like, girl, I want to sit this door down because most of the time she late. Most of the time Andrea is late to stuff. It take her a good little minute to get to where she need to get, but when she get there, she can handle her business. And so when we got to church, like I think like the door was closed and the ushers wasn't letting us in at this point in time. You couldn't come in. And she was like, girl, I want to tear this door down. I want to tear this door down. But the choir sounded really good. And I was like, oh, they almost sound like Kirk Franklin for real. Like, for real. They sounded really good. So once we got on the inside, before we even walked in the door, she was like, once you sit down, girl, they might come and put a lap cloth on your lap. I said, I wish they would. Because first of all, you don't even know me, number one. Number two, you don't even know my circumstances. So I really wish you might come up to me and trying to put a lap cloth on my lap. Because, baby, if your dudes can't keep it together, that's not my fault. I think it's real crazy how churches be, oh, the women need to dress a certain way and modest because you don't want to tempt the man. Well, ma'am, if he's being tempted and he can't control his peen, that's his issue, not the lady. Not the lady. Y'all be killing me with that. Oh, the way you dress, you asking for what? What came out of her mouth? And that's what I be telling people. What came out of her mouth? What did she say to you that made you think she wanted you? Nothing. And then people be like, oh no, it's the dress. Really? Then what? How are these kids being messed with? Because what these kids wearing? Exactly. Anyway, so and I was like, girl, I wish they would. And she started laughing because she knew I was serious and I would slap your hand. So we went, they let us in, and we had a seat on a second seat. And we sat down. So we sat down, we waiting, and like the preacher and his people walk in and they sit on the front row. So we sitting, and she like hit the preacher on the back. Once she hit the preacher on the back, and he turned around and he kind of gave me a look, like up and down type situation. And I did like this because I thought, of course, according to her, like it was my outfit. But anyway, I kind of brushed it off because you turned around and it was like, in my mind, I was like, that was smart because, yeah, this story time. I will fight you in church. I will fight you in church. Anyway, so church is over and like Andrea's introducing me to the people that she already know because she's been going there for a while. So these people know her. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't really care. I don't really do people. I really don't. I really don't do people. Like, if you're not in my circle, I really don't do people. Like, I can be nice and cordial to you, but it's like, you can tell when somebody, like, pushing it, like, egging it. Like, you're doing too much. Speak and move on. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we leave. She was like, you like it? I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool or whatever. And during this process, they were moving from the original building and moving into a bigger building that was up the street. They actually used their building fund and build the building. They actually used their building fund and build the building, child. So, during that time, like, I had left and went home, so to speak, I think. Yes. No. I think I had went home, but even before I went home, like, I didn't go back. Like, I started school, trying to figure school out, failed my first semester, all in the play, like, literally. Just, whoa. So, the next time I visited the church, like, they were in a new building. And the new building, and it was really nice. Like, I was like, oh, this is this is nice. And so, like, the people Andrea had introduced me to, like, they kind of remember me, and then some of them didn't, but I started, going back. And then, okay, no, let me back up. Before I stopped going to the church, no, I had stopped going for a while. I had already moved out. Yeah. I had already moved out and everything. Yeah, let me back up. I had already moved out on campus, had already did my first semester or whatever. And my second semester, I moved out, had roommates. And we were cool because the roommates that I had was on my hall. We lived we lived in a certain hall on campus that each hall on campus had a nickname anyway. But the hall that I lived in, it was 5 floors. 5 floors. They was got floors was flows, so it can rhyme with right. So we lived in the same building and we were on the same hall. My 2 roommates knew each other. But anyway, we had already moved out. It was in our apartment. And at this time, me and my mom are beefing. Beefing really, really, really bad. Really bad. Really bad. Like, really bad to the point. And she has a whole new boyfriend. Yeah, I ain't like him either. But she has a whole new boyfriend, but we beefing. Like, we beefing really bad. So, and I'm having, like, these really bad dreams. So at this point, and before this, I wasn't attending church at all. I was like, I'm gonna live my life and do my thing and do me. So I had this really, really bad dream. And when I had this really, really bad dream, I was like, okay, fine. You win. I'm gonna go back to church. And I told Andrea, I was like, tell your pastor that I want to sing a solo. And so Andrea vouched for me. She was like, she want to sing a solo, so I want you, to come up and sing. So the pastor had never heard me sing. Of course, nobody had heard me sing. The only person who had heard me sing was Andrea. And he was basically going off her words. So you made a place in time for me to sing my solo. And so it was like, I need to get this off my chest. So I sung a solo. And when I sung the solo, the pastor after church came up to me. He was like, you need to get in the choir. And I was like, he was like, yep. Go over there to that partially bald head man and tell him I said you need to get into the choir. So, as I told y'all, I'm an asshole. So I walked over to the dude that he sent me to, and I was like, he told me to come over to you, the partially bald head man, and tell you I need to get in the choir. And he was like, he said that, and I was like, yeah. He was like, but you do have a beautiful voice, so okay, yeah, let's get you in the choir. And he gave me like the rundown of the days of rehearsal and when I need to show up so I could get in the choir. So that's how my choir career started. And my choir career started before they moved to the new building. And like I said, after me being in the choir, like I left, I went home, was doing my own thing. Then I came back and came into the new building and was like, maybe I need to do this thing for real. When I mean like for real, like I was head forward, head face in it, drowning in Jesus. Jesus was everything. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It was just like a turn. Like it was like everything was Jesus. To an extent. Because but yeah, I'll get to that part later. To an extent. Anyway. So once I got back and I'm in the choir and and as I stated, Andrea lived there. So I really believe Andrea was done with school. And she was established and working and doing her own thing there, to be honest. Andrea was established. So Andrea was there the whole time that I wasn't. So when I got back to the building, and started going there all the time, Andrea still had her and Chris was still together. Or they might have been on their way out. I think they might have been on their way out. Not sure. No, I think they were like on their way out, almost done. So anyway, once I got back there and I'm in the choir, like I got back in the choir, I'm attending everything that they got going on. Literally, I'm always there. And even though I'm always there at church, I'm always at the club too. I'm always at the club too, baby. When you had a college ID, club was free. You got your college ID, club was free. Club, we would hit the club literally. It seemed like from Wednesday to dang on Sunday sometimes. It was crazy. Because college night was Thursday night. As long as you had a valid college ID, you got in free before 11 o'clock. So if it wasn't one club over here, if it wasn't this club over here, was this other club across the tracks. The other club across the tracks was lit too, but you sometimes you might get shot. You just gotta deal with it. Sometimes you might get shot. It was a possibility you might get shot, but the club was lit. The other place over here, it was safe. It might be a little fight, but you didn't have to worry about being shot. But so my life was, I promise you, during the week I was in the club. And I think at this point I had completely dropped out of school. Because school was expensive. Yeah. But I was still paying my bills. Yeah, I was still paying my bills for a little bit. Me and my roommates hadn't fell out at this time yet. We were still good because I was paying my bills, maneuvering and whatnot. But I was probably either on my way out of school or completely out of school at this point. So I would do the club during the week. And on Saturday, Sunday, because I hit the clubs on Saturday nights, and Sunday morning I'm in the choir with my hair smelling like weed. Me and this other girl, we was in the soprano section, and baby, we both was like, girl, you went to the club last night? Hair smelling. And I was like, girl, I hope these people don't smell this weed in my hair. Literally. So, yeah, I'm living a double life doing my thing. But even with that, rumors are starting to circulate about Andrea and one of the leaders in the church. Let's just do that. About Andrea and a leader in the church. So people were coming up to me asking, because Andrea is my cousin. Like, she's my real cousin. Like, she's not my 8th cousin. We're first cousins, child. Yeah, first cousins. So they would come up to me and they'd be like, is Andrea messing with so-and-so? And I'd be like, nah. Because at this time, like I said, I'm still thinking her and Chris are still together. And even if they weren't together, I was there when she was with Chris. So they were saying, like, Andrea was messing with this leader during the time that she was with Chris. And I was like, ain't no way, because Chris be there all the time. Like, they together all the time. Nah, like, I'm going hard. Like, nah, that dude ain't even her type. Do you see Chris? And do you see him? That dude ain't even her type. So, no. She got a man. She got a man. Again, I'm going hard, but these people, and then it's different people asking me about Andrea and a certain leader of the church. And I was like, no. Like, literally, it was always the conversation, especially when I first got back. That was a topic of how they would ease into the question, because it's like, well, it's rumors going around about your cousin and the leader of the church. And I was like, no. She got a man. See the man, see them together, they're in love, not happening. Not happening. So, time goes on, time moves forward, and this same leader, time moves on, time moves forward, and at my apartment, there's, with the group, if you gotta watch the military police in my house. You gotta watch that for this to make sense. So I was in a singing group. Besides the choir, I was in a singing group. So this particular night, the singing group, we're playing Truth or Dare. And the question was, and it had to be out of all of not the leaders, out of anybody in the church, all males, who would you date? Who would you date? Who would you be? Who would be your man? Now, the rules was, before we even played the game, nothing leaves the room, right? So, because if the man was married, because this was hypothetical, it wasn't nobody acting upon such things. So, it was nothing leaves this room. Child. Should have known better. You should have known. No, you should have known somebody was going to spill the damn tea. You should have known somebody was going to run their mouth. So lo and behold, the question, it comes to me. Everybody says their answers. And some of us, we're shocked. And some of us, we're not with some of the answers. But when it comes to me, of course, I said, this leader, one of the leaders of the church, they said his name, and they was like, and they was like, why? And I was like, well, he's not attractive in the face, but how he runs things, how he makes things happen, how you command stuff and people move. So it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't I go after the most powerful? What is that? Y'all see that? Why am I tripping? I guess I was tripping. Why wouldn't you go after the most powerful? Was my answer. So one girl was like, and she was like, all right, y'all, I gotta go. Because in all actuality, at this time, did she have 2 kids? I think she had 1. She had to go pick up her kid, is what she said. I really don't believe she had to go pick up her kid, but I was like, she's probably going to be the first person who spilled the tea. Well, was it a week later? I think it was like a week later. It might have been longer than that. I'll give it 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, this same leader that I named calls me into the office. So I was like, you done heard about. Well, in all actuality, I ain't gonna front. I ain't think nothing of it. In all actuality, I thought this leader was calling me in the office because certain leaders knew the issues that was going on with me and my mom. So I thought, truth be told, I thought you were calling me to discuss my mama. Because when I said me and my mama was beefing, we was beefing. Like beefing. But yeah, and it was like her current boyfriend made it worse. Ooh. Anyway, so once he called me in the office, I was like, oh, okay, this must be another session, because this leader also knew about my attempted unaliving. So he was one of the leaders who had counseled me and my mom, because they made, once I tried to unalive myself, he made my mom like come down. He was like, this is important, because I had like the pills was in my hand. They was trying to get the pills out of my hand. I was like, no. Literally, I was tired. I was tired of fighting, bro. Anyway, you come in the office, I go in the office, so I'm thinking this is something dealing with my mom. And when I sat down, like when I sat down, well, he told me to sit down. He told me to sit down in his chair, which was odd. And I was like, what the? And you sat down on the sofa. And I was like, this is odd. So I sat down in your chair because I'm thinking, I was like, what kind of exercise, what kind of counseling is this? But I'm sitting down. I sat down. And so the leader says, so tell me about the truth or dare game. You gotta be you. So I said, what truth or dare game? Because again, we're not, so nothing was supposed to go beyond the door. Nothing was supposed to go beyond the door. Check back later for part 2. It's 40 minutes, y'all. I'm not gonna do that to y'all. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life. See y'all in part 2.